Hello everyone, welcome to Savvy Looks, where I typically like to take outdated or damaged secondhand furniture and give it a whole new life. Today that's actually not what I did. Instead, I took a little area in our house that has these cabinets that were just outdated with outdated granite, and I gave that whole area a makeover using a lot of the same techniques as furniture flipping. So if you want to see how I modernized this little cabinet area, then just keep watching. So we have this cabinet area with black and green granite and sort of red toned wood. It really just doesn't match with the overall white and gray bright color tones of the rest of the room. As with any furniture piece, I started by removing all of the hardware and cleaning everything really well with a degreasing cleaner, and then rinsing everything off with water. Cabinet area was not very dirty except for the top, which was caked in dust. I lightly hand scuff sanded the cabinets to prepare them for paint so that my paint would adhere better. I made sure to clean up all of my sanding dust and tape off everything that I didn't want to get paint on. To paint, I used a Country Chic oval brush and the color Perfect White by Melange. I had a spray bottle of water on hand so that I could get a really smooth finish. I lightly sanded with fine grit sandpaper between every coat to remove any brush stroke texture or any little hairs or fuzzes that have gotten in the finish. As I was doing this, my supervisor was hard at work until she got bored and left. In total, I ended up having to do about 5 full coats of paint to get completely full coverage over this dark wood. I alternated back and forth between using my Zibra paintbrush and my Country Chic oval paintbrush. After all of that painting, I wanted to make sure that my finish was completely protected, so I top coated using about 3 full coats of Satin Polyacrylic Top Coat by Minwax and my Zibra fan brush. I reattached the doors and then painted the backs of the doors. I felt like it would be easiest to put them back up and then paint them. The existing hardware was a little bit dated for the more modern look that we were now going for, so I picked out some chrome hardware from Amazon that matched the rest of the room and the rest of the house, and attached that to our newly painted cabinets. A little tip, if your screws are too long for the hardware hole and you don't have a washer, you can use a piece of yarn and tie it around the base of the screw, which will give it a little bit more depth so that your hardware can attach easily. I don't necessarily recommend you do this on pieces that you're selling, but if it's for your own house, then this works perfectly as a washer. So now on to modernizing the countertop. We had this black and green granite, and I really wanted it to look more like a traditional white and gray modern marble, so I decided to paint it and epoxy it. I started by, like I would with a furniture piece, cleaning the surface with a degreasing cleaner and rinsing off all of the water, and then I lightly scuff sanded the surface, not enough to scratch it in any way, but just to give it a little bit more tooth and a little bit more grip for my paint and primer to attach to. Again, I wiped back all of my dust after I did this. After taping everything off, I primed the surface of my countertop. I used my favorite standard furniture primer, Zinsser Bin shellac-based primer. You don't need a shellac-based primer for this because that of course blocks wood tannins and marble is not wood. But I did want to use a good primer that I knew could give me a good solid white base, a good finish, and improve my adhesion. I did a total of about 3 full coats of primer. I did this because my primer is acting as a solid base because I want a traditional white and gray style marble. But if you want any other kind of countertop, you can absolutely do that and curate your colors to match the look that you're going for. And then I just started. There's a million different ways to make faux marble, so I chose to use a foam brush, and I would make large veins and then come back with water and spray it down and wipe it back, and then add layers, and then do more, and then paint over it. I kind of just kept going. I spent a few hours just going back and forth, changing things, and how I started, how I originally envisioned it, was not how it ended up looking, and that's okay. I ended up being really happy with the marble look that I created. I ended up finding that the way to make the most realistic marble is have a combination of those more grand, blotchier gray veining and then some more really fine lines that go through to add some more definition. So the way that I did this was by taking my foam brush, painting out a small little blotch in the area that I wanted the thinner vein. I would let it dry for no more than 30 seconds. And that would be enough to let it just slightly dry. Then I would take my spray bottle and spray down that area really aggressively with the spray bottle, which ended up pulling up the paint, but it would only pull it up in the center of the blotch, leaving a really thin little border that looked like those little small veins that I was trying to create. Once I was finally happy with my marble, I was ready to seal it in with epoxy, which not only protects the countertop, but makes it both look and feel like a countertop. So I taped off my area even better than I had before and mixed equal parts of part A and part B epoxy resin made for countertops. All of the epoxies out there are different, so just read your instructions to find the best way to do it. And I should be wearing gloves right now, but I wasn't. I know, I should be wearing gloves. I intentionally chose a countertop epoxy that had no VOCs so that it would be completely safe for me to use inside. And then I know it's a little bit difficult to see, but I just poured a part of my epoxy resin mixture onto the surface and used a foam brush to spread it across the entire surface. This product is thick and it's self-leveling for the most part. I still did get a little bit of texture, but this really left me with a super shiny, glossy, marble-like finish. After I finished epoxying, I noticed a few areas that I wanted to caulk. As you likely know if you've seen my other videos, I like to feature a fun, satisfying tape removal section, but the epoxy sort of glued the tape in place. So when I pulled it up, it had these sharp edges, sort of, and it didn't look nice or clean, and the caulking was able to cover that up. Once I finished that, I was all done with this cabinet update. I hope you liked it. Let me know what you thought. Well, there you have it. That is my little countertop cabinetry area makeover. This little makeover area was definitely a lot of new challenges for me. I've never done a countertop like that. I've never painted any sort of cabinetry, but overall I'm really happy with how it turned out. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see some of my other clips, make sure to come follow me on Instagram at savvy.looks and subscribe here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Trash bags down. Oh. Oh. What I'm doing, here goes nothing.